But make no mistake, this is not just another silly season headline. Rosberg's revelation has sparked a wildfire that spreads far beyond the paddock. The very idea of Ferrari, a team steeped in 7 decades of pure Italian spirit, setting up shop on British soil feels almost blasphemous. Imagine the Scuderia's blood-red cars, the Prancing Horse crest, and all that legendary heritage crossing the channel. It's enough to make the tifosi tremble. For generations, Ferrari has been more than a racing team. It has stood as a fortress of identity, passion, and unwavering national pride. Now, the suggestion of a UK base threatens to shatter that fortress, sending seismic tremors through the sport's foundations. This is not just a matter of logistics. It is a fundamental challenge to everything Ferrari represents, a possible rewriting of what it means to race in red. If this move unfolds, Formula One will never be the same again. The old certainties are cracking, and the entire world is watching Ferrari's every move. To understand just how radical this potential shift truly is, you have to go back to Ferrari's roots in Maranello. Since Enzo Ferrari first opened the gates of his modest factory in 1947, this sleepy Italian town has been inseparable from the myth and magic of the Scuderia. Every championship, every heartbreak, every moment of glory was forged within those walls, surrounded by the culture, language, and relentless passion of Italy itself. For decades, the team's identity has been an extension of the country's artistry and spirit. Every red car on the grid carries the hopes and dreams of an entire nation. This connection is woven into every detail, from the handcrafted engines to the family-run traditions at team headquarters. But Formula One has changed. Today, the UK, with its dense web of technology suppliers, world-class engineers, and motorsport infrastructure, has become the sport's high-tech heartland. Now, Ferrari faces a painful choice: remain anchored in tradition or plant a new flag within the territory where F1's future is being written. There's a reason why nearly every Formula One powerhouse has set up camp within the UK's motorsport valley. Placing a base in Britain means instant connection to cutting-edge suppliers, rapid access to prototype components, and a conveyor belt of specialized engineers who live and breathe racing. Teams like Mercedes and McLaren use this ecosystem to shrink development cycles from weeks to days, swapping out crucial upgrades between races with almost impossible agility. In stark contrast, Ferrari's isolation in Maranello often means critical parts must cross borders, slowing innovation and creating logistical headaches. But the real deficit runs even deeper. Rosberg has zeroed in on Ferrari's internal communication breakdowns. While rival teams in the UK can gather technical minds under a single roof and make split-second decisions, Ferrari's feedback loop is plagued by layers of bureaucracy and delays. Updates that should be immediate become painstakingly slow, leaving strategists and drivers a step behind as the pace of modern F1 accelerates. The impact is clear on Sundays. Opportunities slip away in the heat of battle, and mistakes compound as vital information lags behind real-time events. For Ferrari to compete, Rosberg suggests, it's not just about location, it's about building a culture where information flows as fast as the cars themselves. Ferrari's current crisis is no longer a secret whispered in the paddock. It's headline news with every passing weekend. The 2025 season has been a brutal reality check. After just 10 rounds, Ferrari has mustered a single win, and notably, it came not from Charles Leclerc, but from Lewis Hamilton in a sprint, underscoring the fractured state of team performance. The constructors' standings reveal an even grimmer picture. Nearly 200 points adrift of McLaren, Ferrari is battling not for titles, but for relevance. Pit wall indecision and a revolving door of strategy, blunders plague every race. Insiders talk openly of confusion on radio channels, a lack of clear leadership, and engineers paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes. Rosberg's comments, suggesting Hamilton often does not know who to even approach for real answers, echo the depths of organizational chaos. The result is wasted potential and eroding morale. These cracks at the top fuel the urgency behind the UK move. Ferrari knows that unless it rewrites its entire playbook, its legendary status will survive only in memory, not in victory. At the center of this seismic shift stands Lewis Hamilton, a sire driver defined by relentless ambition and an unwavering demand for excellence. At Mercedes, Hamilton flourished within a system built on instant feedback, razor-sharp communication, and the ruthless pursuit of marginal gains. Every detail mattered. Every voice was heard and acted upon, often overnight. Now, thrust into the labyrinthine corridors of Maranello, he finds himself grappling with a hierarchy where initiative gets tangled in tradition and clarity gives way to consensus. Hamilton's methodical, data-first approach collides with a team unaccustomed to such urgency and transparency. His insistence on direct answers and immediate responses has already begun to unsettle the entrenched rhythms of the Scuderia. Teammates and engineers alike feel the pressure of his standards, a pressure intensified by Ferrari's recent struggles. This culture clash is not just uncomfortable, it is transformative. If Ferrari can adapt and let Hamilton's methods take root, the team may finally shed the inertia that has plagued it for years. But if resistance prevails, the tension risks erupting into deeper fragmentation at the precise moment Ferrari needs unity most. For Ferrari's legions of devoted fans, the thought of the team's beating heart pulsing from British soil is nothing short of heresy. The Tifosi have built their identity around the red cars from Maranello. Passion doesn't just flow through the assembly lines, it surges in the grandstands, in the flags, in countless childhood dreams. Detaching part of Ferrari's operation from Italy risks not just logistical headaches, but emotional and cultural fracture. Would a win at Silverstone, crafted by engineers in Oxfordshire, feel as triumphant? Would it even be a true Ferrari victory at all? For some, the pride of the Prancing Horse has always depended on its unmistakable Italian soul, its romance, its deep connection to a nation's spirit. Diluting that essence could erode not only team morale, but also the fierce loyalty and mystique that have made Ferrari an institution, not just a competitor in the sport. All of this is unfolding on the eve of Formula One's next great reset. The 2026 regulations promise to upend the current order with radical changes in engine architecture, aerodynamics, and sustainable fuels, an open invitation for any team willing to rip up the old playbook and start fresh. For Ferrari, the potential UK base carries weight not just as an act of survival in 2025, but as a strategic foundation for the new era just beyond the horizon. The stakes are enormous. Audi and Sauber are sharpening their entry strategies to disrupt the grid. Red Bull and Mercedes are already laying the groundwork for the technological arms race ahead. In this context, Ferrari's move could be seen as either a desperate reaction to an existential threat or the opening move in a long-term plan to reclaim glory. Success will demand vision, unity, and the courage to bridge tradition with innovation. That means integrating Maranello's soul with the UK's technical prowess to construct not just a fast car, but a future-proof operation poised for sustained championship battles. However, history shows that splitting a team across national borders is a double-edged sword. Haas, for example, divides its workforce between the United States, the UK, and Italy, a structure that has resulted in well-documented logistical headaches and a persistent lack of cohesion, stunting the team's ability to consistently progress. Alpine, caught between bases in France and England, has similarly wrestled with chain-of-command confusion and blurred lines of responsibility, fueling periods of underperformance despite flashes of promise. For Ferrari, transplanting part of their DNA to the UK introduces enormous risks, time zone disparities, cultural clashes, and the potential for information to become siloed, undermining the swift decision-making modern F1 demands. Without a singular vision and uncompromisingly strong leadership at the helm, unity can dissolve in the gaps between offices, and with it, the team's competitive edge. The challenge is clear. If Ferrari can master the complex logistics and maintain a sense of singular identity amid the split, the approach could catalyze a true renaissance. But any misstep threatens not only performance, but the very alchemy that makes Ferrari different from every other team on the grid. Now, as the world of Formula One stands on the edge of this historic crossroad, all eyes turn to Ferrari. Will the Scuderia find the courage to break free from the gravitational pull of its own tradition and become the team that leads Formula One into its bold new era? Or will the weight of its legendary past prove too heavy, anchoring it to fading memories, while rivals race ahead? Nico Rosberg's startling disclosure has done more than expose a team in crisis. It has ignited a reckoning that cuts straight to the heart of what Ferrari is and what it could become. This is about far more than wind tunnels, engines, or headquarters. The decision Ferrari faces now will define not just its competitive fate, but its very soul. Will it be remembered as a turning point, the spark of a new Prancing Horse dynasty, or as the moment when Formula One's grandest myth began to unravel? Let us know in the comments. Is Ferrari on the verge of rebirth or about to lose itself?